How's it going, everyone? Third, so I have one table of heads-up action. Nice, chill, live play and explain. Let's see how many mistakes we can make. Clear 3-bet. And gutter blocking Jack 10, not bad for a 3-bet range. Gonna go with third. We block 10 Jack, we have backdoor spades. And now the question is, do we want to turn this into a multi-barrel? So unblocking pairs is good. 2 and change SPR on the turn. Probably find stronger barrels in my opinion. Maybe ace, ace, 10, 10, 6. He is still supposed to keep enough 10 Jack in his range, especially versus a third C bet. If he raises every 10 Jack there, he's going to be overdoing it a little bit, I think. So bottom set gutter, double back door, I like C bet. Easy to push equity. I'm gonna barrel, especially on blocking sixes and jacks, as well as jack six. Obviously, jacks are going to be a very small, if ever, a portion of his range, but he still should have some sixes, jack six. He can turn into a bluff. We unblock kings and queens that we can get potentially 2 more streets from. And so by polarizing, I'm basically turning my jack six into a bluff. Very tough to get paid here. Really targeting over pairs. That being said, once he starts blocking Jack X, he can come up with enough bluff catches, I think. So from a theory point of view, I think we want to pot from an exploitative. Depends on how much they are calling. And I don't really have a sample on this player at this moment, so I'm not sure. Start with a range check. Even versus a bit of a larger sizing. Stop folding. And we can go a couple ways here. We can check or block. I feel like those are the only 2 reasonable options. I think check works better on this board because it's very difficult for him to find double street bluffs, given his fold equity is now far less on this type of locked texture, I think. We are picking up aces everywhere at the same table. I'm playing with a strategy right now of c-betting, and to make sure none of my opponents ever find my YouTube channel or change my screen. I can't do that. But on 2-tone flops in 3-bet spots, we do have a very high c-bet. Yeah. So what this tells me, and I'll go back to that thought, this is a very high range check in a heads up scenario, and the reason for that being, for those who haven't looked at heads up, is a typical 3-bet range is about 18% in heads up. And a typical 18% range does not include really any of that. Whereas the RFI range in heads up is about 85. Uh, so we're just going to naturally interact a lot more with these very, very poor textures. Or I guess lower textures is a better way to put it. So for that reason, really not a C bet, and what that lets me know is this player does not play a lot of heads up. At least what I'm gathering at the moment. So this player is C bet 3 bet, or excuse me, 3 bet C bet 100%. Typically, that means we can probably attack this board, given they're either going to be extremely top of range, Jack Jack 8, Jack Jack Ace Ace. Um, we don't really have anything we can do anything with, so I think just give up is okay. Not a very high C bet texture being rainbow. Still have some, but not a massive amount. A check give up with this combo. Not the part of our range we really want to do anything with, I don't think. Top and bottom versus pot. Not a fun spot. Having the king of spades is nice. We do unblock the ace of spades, which isn't amazing. So if he has aces with spades, we're not doing great here. We're going to be about 45%. If he just has the ace of spades, we're going to be closer to 55. Nonetheless, I think we do just want to get the money in versus pot. I don't really see how we can call there. Versus half pot, I like call. Versus pot, I think I like pile. I'm going to open a little bit smaller here, give him the big blind bottom for smaller. Helps leverage a higher post flop SPR position. And not loving it, but not folding. Double backdoor gutter pair. I don't think we can fold. One SPR, so we're going to need about 36, 37%, which we're often going to have. So break even. Often more for profit. Or to make it profitable. Whoa, we're worst case scenario. Crazy. Yeah, once or twice is whatever, I don't care. I kind of actually want to run it once from now on. Well, not from now on, but for small pots. Nice hand. So this heads up match turned into a not heads up match. Top and bottom, gutter with spades, I think is just good enough to lead. Okay playability, bit of visibility, robust equity. And the button limp, so they're not going to have as many high flush draws. Triple suit. It's kind of close, but with an ante, it feels like we're just in there. We definitely have some leads on king high boards, quite a few actually. I actually think I like lead fold over check call, even without a diamond blocker. It's not an amazing spot either way, but I think the EV is a little bit better taking our fold equity on a flop that heavily favors our small blind range. Once we have backdoor clubs, I think it becomes a bit closer. J Boogie. Turn that into money. And unblocking aces, I think we can still get two streets from a queen. This is pretty close, to be honest, three ways. The reason it's pretty close is once we go bet flop and bet turn on a turn blank, on a blank two street run out, so brick turn, brick river, we are starting to potentially value cut ourselves versus queens and boats, I think. So maybe we could make a small argument for checking that 3x. We definitely don't need to bet all 3x there, I don't think. Okay, so we have the ace 8 versus the ace with spades. The man wants it one time. I respect the gamble. Actually, a very, very good candidate versus a 4-bet range, given nobody really puts non-ace ace into their 4-bet range. It's about one of the only flops we can't really do much on. I almost wonder, can we ever go small here? I don't think we can. 8-1, we are going to call. Let's see if we can get two tables going since we are no longer heads up. Alright, we are back with more than one table. And gutter spade, double gutter spade versus check back. I like bet, I think. Yeah, I like limp call here. And I think we could block, we could check. I actually think block works okay with the 6 of spades. Gonna fold on the right. Check fold on the left. And gutter pair with a spade block. Peel. A block here. We can occasionally get called by worse, and even more so, we lose less versus well, yeah, we lose less versus his value bets with like kings and queens. And versus raise, very unusual to be honest, but I'm just gonna fold. Not really sure what to make sense of that line. Probably go a third there. I typically do, but I feel like this player is capable of paying off more. So we're at 100 big blinds. Don't really have too many leads here on this board. So we do block 8-7. Actually, a decent bluff catch. We unblock clubs, we unblock a 10. This is actually a really good bluff catch. Kind of surprised he went that thin, so good to know. Fold on the right. Interesting turn. So I think check probably works okay. I don't really see how we're folding this straight for half. So checks back top pair with the second pair. Okay. Just top pair with the 9 high flush draw, I like check. Given we have the gutter additional equity, I like c-bet. And our highest barrels are going to come from blanks, given how dynamic the flop is. Does decide to check jam, virtually. It's basically saying I have sevens, I have fives. We really don't have the call off equity against. I don't think. I think once we have a double gutter, it's there, but with a single gutter, I don't think we can. I think the decision point's on the turn if we want to try to preserve our equity and go to the river, turn our hand into a bluff catch, or if we want to deny equity. That being said, I think, not to be results oriented, I think I'm leaning towards check on turn, given how much of the draws we block. Let's start turning this into a semi bluff on the turn. And 7-5-4-4. It's only been 10 hands, but they have 3-bet a bit. Gonna limp this one. I think clear check back. We don't really have too many good turns to barrel, both for either value or as a bluff. We can turn the straight though. And with the overpair, I'm going to start betting. We do unblock nut clubs, which is nice. I like barrel more if we don't block a club. It's basically saying I'm turning deuce X into a bluff, a river to ace deuce, where I have a boat. I think we want at least a board pair there. Ace 2 is a very likely part of his turn bet river continue range, I think. Spicy games. Let's see if we can make a few hands. Hands that we don't fold, I guess. So middle set, gutter, no spade. Even blocking the queen, I don't mind bet. We still can't get value from twos and spades. And turn is going to be a barrel unblocking spades. Easy call here. Nothing else to be said. Check turn. My aces want to check, which is the main part of my range here. Tough to get two streets from clubs. And unblocking the ace, unblocking king 10. 4 clubs out, I think I like block. I think we still get plenty of value from his sets from his king 10. Especially once he starts having a single club blocker. I'm always back and forth with how big I want to open in these ante games. If I want to open smaller and keep the SPR high. If I just want to open bigger, offer them max punishment. And the big blind is going to interact enough with this middling texture. I think I'm okay with check back. To be honest, I need to study these middling boards a little bit more. because I'm not entirely confident. And this player's been pretty passive. We do unblock queens, or excuse me, we block queens. Jeez, long day. But I think we can come up with better bluff catches. And I like check call on the bottom right. I'm going to turn this into a bluff, but I'm actually going to use smaller sizing. The reason for that is I want to include King Jack in my range and not just polarize my range to flushes. Because if they can hand read, once I start polarizing there, I feel like they can reach further down into their range and come up with more realistic bluff catches. 10-8-8. Still probably call a check raise with the pair in our hand. And I'm gonna start leading three ways versus limps. I'm gonna have a ton of deuce X in my big blind check range, and once he check raises us blocking to 10. Just gonna fold. Fold versus double barrel. Very tough turn to be bluffing on, in my opinion. King 9. This is an easy fold. The big blind is a little too short. So down about a bind and a half right now for updated results. I think this plays really nice as a lead. We heavily block both their continues and their betting range, and we don't really benefit from seeing turns. Nor do we benefit from allowing our opponents to see free turns here. Decent flop. We actually could check this back. Yeah, I think we want to check this back. We're just way too high up in range. We just block way too much of their continues, I think. Decent board for us to bet versus check, given he didn't raise. He's not going to have a ton of Broadway in range. We can still call a check raise. We retain a little bit of equity in that scenario. So a little bit mergy, but I think versus a limp, I think it's okay. Could still be a little mergy though. Hey everyone, Tilty Fish here. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this content and would like more, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.